This is a podcast called 25 Whistles, talking football, and they all wear a whistle. Yeah, it's stupid, but what did you expect? It's a podcast called 25 Whistles. 25 Whistles.
Heyo, welcome. Presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings app and use the code BobbySports to get in on the action. We're going to let Kevin blow the whistle because he was the only one that was able to watch the games for the most part. Go ahead, Kevin.
Go.
All right, let the show start. We were traveling all weekend. I watched some college games, and then I watched, I guess, probably every NFL game on the little cartoon screen on the ESPN app.
Oh, that's tough, man.
It is tough.
Just watching that little ball go back and forth.
Sometimes they're wrong.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah. It's like fumble, then it's like review, then it's just weird stuff. So you can't really keep up.
Yeah.
So I was able to watch all the highlights, but still we're really leaning on Kevin because we were in Vegas all weekend. So Jay Glazer coming up. Ricky Williams should be on the show on Friday, but let's warm it up first. Do you wear any jewelry at all? If so, what jewelry do you wear? All right, that's the warm-up question. Eddie, going to you first.
Very interesting. I don't wear jewelry. The only thing I have is my wedding ring. The original wedding ring I had, I lost playing golf. I put it in my back pocket, played the round, and then when I ended the round, I reached back to get it, and it was gone. Dude, I went all over that golf course looking for that ring, never found it.
How long ago was that?
9 years ago?
Wow.
9 years ago. So now I wear a rubber wedding ring.
That's what I wear.
Those are popular right now, right?
Right now,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
wear. It's the only red one I can find.
Yeah.
I have a nice one because once my wife got hers, well, it's not too shabby, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I need to get me one that's awesome. So I bought one. It's got diamonds in it all around the inside of it. And then I don't wear it because it's just metal on your finger.
It's weird.
I like the rubber.
I'd be nervous too, no? I don't like to lose it.
Well, I mean, I wasn't nervous until I lost it. Then you're just like, oh, crap, I lost my wedding ring? Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess mine's more uncomfortable than nerves.
Yes.
I'll go. I wear a watch most days now. I've turned myself into a watch guy in the last year and a half. Never wore a watch ever in my life. And I just said, I'm going to be a watch guy. That's going to be one thing I do that's mature. And so I wear a watch 5-6 days a week. And then I wear this. And I wish I was cool enough to pull off other stuff, but I'm not.
Like necklaces? That'd
Just-
be
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I was wearing a suit this weekend. It was just a white T-shirt. And I thought it'd be cool if I had like a necklace. Or a chain. I should say chain,
A
not
chain,
necklace.
right.
Eddie's
Like
you can
Tebow.
wear-
Yeah.
It's like you can wear a tiara. No. Necklace sounds kind
A
of...
chain is a necklace, Bones.
Yeah, but necklace sounds kind of like a woman wears a necklace, right?
Yeah, I agree. You got to say chain.
Guys, come on.
That sounds cooler.
Can we please move on? You know?
Mike, any jewelry?
Same as you guys. I wear the rubber wedding ring.
That's
I,
it?
I used to wear the real one, and I lost it in a parking lot. Was able to find it, but ever since then, keep with the rubber one.
I feel like Kevin's the only one cool enough. I don't know if you wear jewelry or not, but I feel like you're the only cool one here. Like you could wear jewelry if you wanted to.
See, I'm like you though. So I wear the watch. I haven't always, probably the last 4 or 5 years, but I want a necklace too. I've been thinking about that, or a chain. Sorry, a chain.
Oh, see, he's a necklace,
no,
though.
See, you got it in my head.
You corrupted him.
Okay.
But I've been thinking about getting a chain for a while now. But it's one of those. You just got to do it, I guess.
Ryan Hurd got me a chain once and was like, "You should wear this."
You still have it?
Somewhere.
Start wearing it, bro.
I don't want to. I'm good.
Oh, you're done? You're over
I wish
that?
I could pull it off, but if I do wear it once in a while, it just looks weird. But I'd only wear it over like a solid colored shirt. Wouldn't just wear it to wear it.
Right.
See, you're already
I've
thinking
thought
way
about
too
it.
much
I know,
about
I've thought
that.
about it. I've thought about it.
Has anybody, like, did they ever wear earrings? Like, did you ever wear earrings or, like, ear pierce?
Why are you asking me that?
I don't know.
You know I never have.
It's just weird to me when you see someone and you're like, you look at their ear and like, is your ear pierced? Like, yeah, I used to have earrings
Mike?
in high school.
I wanted to. My parents wouldn't let me. I wanted to get my lip pierced too.
Well, Mike, you were in a punk band, so
Yeah.
that would have made sense. It'd have been on brand. For me, it would have just given them another reason to beat me up.
Oh, man.
Kevin, you never had an earring?
No, never an earring guy. No.
All right, we're warm. Let's go over the tittle tattle.
It's time for the stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
You got 5. Go ahead.
All right, Bobby, we're gonna kick it right
I knew
off
it.
with your
I knew it.
Saturday.
I
Savage.
knew where we were going.
I'm sorry, you
Go
got
ahead.
to do it first. Got to get out of the way. Which loss was worse for you, the parlay or Arkansas?
Arkansas by far.
Okay.
A little bit, not mostly. I don't want you guys to think I'm happy it's over because I would have loved to run the streak forever. But there's pressure off of me now that I can now suggest more games to bet. I then just was like, I'm only doing the parlay because I don't want to miss any of the stupid bets. So I hit one of the 2 in the parlay, which is a loss. When I hit that first one, though,
I know.
I was like, Baylor? I thought you'd win. I didn't know you'd whoop. And then I got to Oklahoma. Oh, they were never even They never had a
Struggle bus.
chance. I watched that game. We were, the Arkansas game was on one TV in the hotel room. The Oklahoma game was on the other because of my wife's school, and they never had it. It wasn't even. Where the Arkansas game, Texas A&M is not a good football team. Had we not made unforced, dumb errors, we would have won that game. I'm not that guy usually who blames it on the ref or who says, oh, we had it. But they just aren't that good, and we played right into them. That fumble was extending it from the 4. It'd have been a great play if he'd have made it, maybe a Heisman shot, but he didn't. It was way early.
Yeah.
I mean, we were thrashing them, running the ball. That field goal, if they wouldn't have been in an NFL stadium, that'd have been good. The goalposts are taller in NFL stadiums.
Oh,
Oh,
dang,
really?
I didn't realize that. They were in Jerry's world.
So it was a tough loss.
Hey, when did you start thinking that? After they hit it? Or like were you just like later in the day thinking about that dumb field goal? And
I
then,
saw someone tweet it.
Okay. Because that's a good
Yeah, I haven't
observation.
seen that. I didn't know that.
Someone tweeted it. Hey, if that had been in a college stadium,
It would've gone
because
right over.
Everybody wants to move it out of Jerry's world anyway and put it back in the individual stadiums, Arkansas and Texas A&M, because both of those fan groups are so good and loud. And in Jerry's world, it doesn't feel like a college atmosphere. It's
Right.
not what that is. So I would rather lose every bet the history of my life than lose that game. It's a tough one. And then we have Alabama next week. So
Oof.
yeah,
Sorry,
I
man.
was not good. I'm still not good. I
Not
woke
good.
up sad. I didn't have my lanyard on. My necklace didn't have it on. Forgot it. Can't find it actually. We may never win another game the rest of.
This is not good.
Yeah. All right, next question.
All right, which NFL team had the biggest win over the weekend? The Packers, Dolphins, Jaguars, or the Colts?
Ooh.
Let me mention them individually. Good win. The first one, the Packers. Good win for the Packers because those are two teams that should be good, and the Packers have struggled a bit. They had I only watched part of it. Again, I was getting home and trying to stream on a Southwest flight, which that internet goes like real good, 30 seconds, out for 45 minutes.
That was me too.
Yeah. So maybe Aaron Rodgers has a receiver now, and the rookie that they have, the Doubs. I was only watching it, and I've drafted him, but I don't want to say his name because I've never actually heard someone say it back. I just know who he is. We'll call him Daubs.
Yeah, I think they pronounce it Dobbs.
Okay, close
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone say it.
You didn't watch the game.
I've
I
only
get
read
it.
everything about him. Well, I drafted him in my fantasy league
Yeah.
because I had read at how he was doing in camp. But if you don't hear someone say a word, you actually never know how to say it.
Mhm.
So I like that win for them. It's a good win for the Pack, but it wasn't the biggest. They're supposed to win.
Mhm.
The second one was
Dolphins,
huge for the Dolphins.
Huge
right?
win.
Huge win for the Dolphins. We'll come back to that one. The third one,
Jaguars.
really good for the Jaguars. Listen, Herbert was hurt. He wanted to finish the game. He stayed in and finished the game. It's good. It's really good for the Jaguars because, like I've said, they're on a trajectory. They may not. They may win the division. I don't know. That's going to be it. But they're not in the basement anymore. Trevor Lawrence, solid. And so I like it for the Jaguars. Still not the best win, although it was a really good win for them. Next one.
Colts, or the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's so okay. Here's the thing: Miami, great win over the Chiefs. Battle of the undefeateds. Although no one really thought
Over
that,
the Bills.
Sorry, over the Bills. No one really thought that Miami was going to win that game. Although I did bet them, plus 3 or 4. And
Yeah,
they won, so they covered. It was
Yeah.
easy. I bet every game I thought I shouldn't. I took Miami. I took the Colts. I took the Texans.
That's good. That's
one
good
pushed.
strategy in the
Well, I
NFL.
just know I suck at betting NFL games.
The Texans keep covering. Not to get off subject here, but yeah,
They
anyways.
keep covering.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with it was the biggest game for the Colts.
Ooh, I'm
Really?
blowing the whistle on that.
Yeah, because
Go ahead.
they hadn't won a game, and they beat the number one team. Well, one of the top 2 teams in the AFC. So I think it was a huge win for them, and I think it lets them actually think they can continue this season and actually have a shot at making the playoffs in a division where everybody's kind of struggling to win games. So huge game for Miami, of course, too. But Miami could have won and been fine. That had just been 2-1. That's a great place to be. 2-1 for anybody. There's only one 0-3 team, which is the Raiders, which is crazy. Yeah, because they're supposed to be pretty good. I'm
Yeah.
still rooting for them to be good. But I think the easy answer, and regardless of what Eddie says, it's the Colts because they were down and out. They lost this. It's bad. It's bad news all season. But they won against a really, really great team. Go ahead, Eddie.
I'm calling Miami on this one because I mean, going in, the Colts, the Bills are so good on both sides of the field. Offense, Josh Allen's amazing. the Bills defense is really good. And Tua, again, is like they're just playing out of their mind. And the fact that they beat the Bills, which I crowned the Bills last week as like they're the best team in football. Now, I don't think you can say that about the Bills because Miami just beat them.
Sure you can.
So, I don't know. I mean, I think
there are two teams that are undefeated, the Eagles and the Dolphins. And I don't think the Dolphins are the best team in football.
No.
I'm not going to switch them and say the Dolphins are the best team, but now you saw that the Bills are human. They could be beat. And so I like that. I think that was huge for Miami. Dude, I didn't realize how much heat could affect a team from the north.
That's why I said it's a hard place to play.
Yeah.
For a team like Buffalo.
Like all those Bills players were just like, oh man, I'm dying of heat exhaustion.
Of
here.
anyone, really, that's
Patriots
not used to that.
Or every year they do the same thing.
Like a September game
Yeah.
from a cold weather team is brutal on them like a winter game is for a warm weather team.
Even the Packers in Tampa were dying.
Florida just killed all the visiting teams.
I agree it was a huge win for them, but I think the Colts it was the biggest win.
Yeah.
They needed it for sure.
Not only did they need a win, but they also beat, again, arguably the top 1 or 2 teams in the NFL or the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, Kevin? Who do you think had the biggest win?
I was with Eddie on the Dolphins for a while there just because it's in Division 2 and I think it gives them the confidence that they need. But until they go up there and do that in Buffalo, it's kind of like, does it really matter? Does it really count?
Yeah,
It does
matters.
matter.
But I just think Miami could have lost and been fine. The Colts,
Yeah.
I don't know that they could have been.
Yeah, and I will say this about Miami, too. I mean, Tua didn't play that. He had, I think, 180 or 190 passing yards, which isn't great. Josh Allen had 400 yards, and they still managed to win the game. So I think that's huge for them. But going back to your point, Bobby, I think the Colts were so much more desperate for a win and needed a win, especially a game like that. So I'll go with the Colts as well.
And there's a football up that guy's rectum still from the punt. I mean, it's still jammed in there.
They're trying to get it out today.
That punt, what was crazy to me was the guy didn't back into the punter. He was there in that same spot.
Yeah.
The punter just punted it right in his butthole.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was a crazy, because I saw people tweeting about it, the butt punt. And then I thought probably the guy got blocked into it. They're in the end zone. So it's
Shorter.
more difficult to punt because you don't have the space.
Right.
But it's like he caught it and just said, butthole.
Like he aimed for the butthole.
It was right in it. It was crazy. It was great games. All right, give me another one.
All right, sticking with the Dolphins game there, Tua got knocked around pretty good there and showed he was showing some concussion signs, but they brought him back in.
He was stumbling.
I mean, he couldn't walk. He couldn't do anything. Do you think he should have been pulled from the game?
I don't know what happened in concussion protocol. They're saying that it wasn't a head injury.
It was a back,
That
right?
it was a back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, I guess if your back hurts, you're like, I don't know. It looked like he'd gone, boom, boom, like little Tweety bird circling around his head. And also dirty play. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they threw the flag on it.
Yeah.
The play was over, and then he just shoved Tua, and Tua falls back on his head.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they did the right thing because I don't think they want to further risk not only injury, but even the life of what they feel like could be their franchise quarterback. So I think probably because the NFLPA is investigating it, we don't know the ruling of the investigation. I'm going to just go they did the right thing. Also, if Tua's got a concussion, he's not going to play well at all.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you want him in there?
So why would,
Yeah.
especially as a quarterback?
And I wonder who's in charge of that. Are the Dolphins in charge of making that call, or is there a
NFL
neutral
thing, right?
NFL?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
independent. So we'll see what happens in the investigation they're doing. The NFLPA announced it quickly. They're like, we're investigating.
Yeah.
And they may have announced it, though, as a reaction to people getting upset so they could even go, there's no concussion here.
Yeah.
So there are a couple reasons
Trying
they
to
could have jumped
cover
up.
it a little bit.
Yeah, and not cover up.
No, not cover up, but
But
like
actually-
make sure that they like tell people, hey, we're on top of it. Don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got to trust they put him in, and he was okay.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Yeah. After another big game and a 3-0 start, Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, is he a early MVP candidate?
I think he is now. I think he already was after 2. He's been extremely dynamic. You need to be dynamic for 14 weeks probably to be an MVP and to win a bunch of games. And they're winning games, and he's 3 in. So, yes, you're going to have a lot of the same folks. Mahomes. Lamar Jackson's my pick from the beginning.
Dude, he looks good.
He looked good again. Yeah. Oh, killed me yesterday.
He went off yesterday.
Yeah.
He's running him in. He's awesome. Lamar Jackson's awesome. Hurts is awesome. The cool thing about Hurts is they wanted to get him off the team. They were like, who's our quarterback? Who's our quarterback? Is it Jalen Hurts? Yeah, sure he is. I think it's too early, though, to go. I mean, the favorite's still probably Josh Allen because Buffalo's probably going to win more games than anybody else. And if he just plays on par with all the rest, but I'm a big fan of putting it out there, saying I'm going to do it and make your money. And that's why I picked Lamar Jackson at the beginning. So as long as he doesn't get hurt, I like Lamar Jackson, but I think Josh Allen or Mahomes probably wins it again, all things being equal. Anything else?
One more. Which upset was more surprising? Kansas State over Oklahoma, Texas Tech over Texas, or Middle Tennessee over Miami?
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, let me roll through them real quick. The first one, Kansas State and Oklahoma, that's surprising, but Kansas State has their number for some reason.
Yeah.
I think even last year we were watching the game. We were driving back in the first quarter, me and my wife's dad, and they were like, oh, and in shocking news, and he goes, oh, no, don't be Oklahoma. They're like, Oklahoma's losing to Kansas State. And he's like, dang. And so they ended up losing that game. I believe it was last year. And they never really were in it. They got within a touchdown, and I was like, come on, baby. And they did, and they cost me my 15 games.
Dang, dude.
I'm 15-1 now. I know. Terrible record.
Sooners.
The second one was,
Texas Tech over Texas.
okay, surprising-ish, but what do you expect Texas to do?
Texas did what Texas does.
Texas, yes. And I just put out a clip going, Texas, it's you.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
So surprising. And then finally, it has to be MTSU.
Amazing.
Because of all those schools mentioned, the one that doesn't belong of the 6 is Middle
Middle.
Tennessee State. That's it.
Middle.
Yeah.
So especially after Miami the week before was ranked 13, played Texas A&M, crazy. And I believe their quarterback, I don't have stats. I didn't even know you were going to talk about this. Their quarterback had like 7 completions for like 300 yards or something because he was throwing 90-yard bombs, like a couple big bomb plays that really made it up. So that was the surprising one. All right, that's the tittle tattle. Let's tittle tattle it up. Close it up.
Stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
I see on the agenda there is no coach interview. Nobody booked their coach, so let's check in with everybody and see if anyone's got any sort of update on booking their coach or if you want to move off or whatever you need. Let's go to Mike D, who is our executive producer, who's great at getting interviews.
Yeah.
Mike, what's the latest, and who do you have and how'd it go?
I have Coach Wilcox from Cal. Last time I told you I'd heard nothing, and then after the show on Friday, I got an email back, and I'm waiting on a yes or no.
Who emailed you back?
The communications director emailed me back.
That's cool. We got a possible yes there.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would say no.
No,
Are you following to see if they're having a bad couple weeks?
I'm
not.
looking at him.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm following him.
So what I don't ever want to talk to a coach after a loss or try to get an interview after a loss.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I know they don't want to talk about that. And so I don't know what Cal's record is, honestly. I haven't been following Cal.
I don't know, man.
Meaning.
So it may be tough if they're not. Mike, what do you have?
They just lost, yeah.
Yeah. What's the record? Do you have it?
Let me see.
Kevin, what do you have over there?
For the update, I have Jimbo Fisher from A&M, and last time we talked, I had
I don't want to talk to him.
crickets,
I
and-
canceled that one myself.
He probably wants to talk
See,
right
it would've been
now.
a great week this week. So I had crickets last time we talked, and I've gotten more crickets since we've talked.
Nothing.
So I need to, this week, I'm going to either follow up with, and maybe even give him a phone call and just say, hey, Bobby's a big Arkansas fan. You guys just won, and we can come
love
on
to
and
talk to
talk
you
about
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
So,
We'll see.
Eddie?
I have Billy Napier of Florida. And so here's the deal. So when I told you guys, I sent an email out. I got a response right away. Said was one of the communications people and said, oh, they're big fans of Bobby Bones. They love the show. And absolutely, let me get you in touch with someone closer to coach. Well, the assistant to the coach finally emailed me.
The assistant coach or the coach's
No,
assistant?
no, coach's
this is
assistant.
like a Dwight situation at the office.
So I got a second email, and he said, oh, cool, man. I love it. This would be great. When do you want to do this? Is this something you want to do this season? And I thought that was really interesting. Why wouldn't I want to talk to him this season or
on Zoom.
not now, Zoom? So I said, no, absolutely. It's next couple days, would be cool. I don't want to wait till
Eddie's
next
like,
year.
15 minutes. Let's go to it.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. I replied with, no, ASAP would be great. And now you talk about how their last games affects their availability. Now with a big loss from Tennessee, I don't know we're gonna get him, dude. I haven't heard anything back.
That's okay. If you guys want to punt by Friday, let me know.
It's not okay. I want $500.
Yeah, but you can punt. What's the rule, Mike?
You lose a point if you punt.
Yeah, you lose a point.
I'm already close, guys. I'm so close to getting this. I think I can get it.
You can follow up with the follow-up and be like,
Yo,
hey, just checking in. All we're asking for is like a 15-minute Zoom just to talk about Florida and I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just say Bobby's a huge fan of Coach from back when he was in Louisiana.
We're not even going to mention the last game. I'll tell him. Not even going to mention that.
Okay, deal.
Okay,
You
good.
can say that.
All right,
You can
love
say
it.
whatever you
Love
want.
it.
I did run into a guy I know him well. He actually facilitated this deal with DraftKings. His name's Kevin Legret, and I saw him in Las Vegas. And he goes, "Hey, man, let me give you some feedback on the show." And I'm like, I literally was just eating shrimp. I don't know.
Don't want the feedback.
Yeah, I'm like,
right now.
Right now? He's like, yeah, let me give you some feedback. I'm like, okay, well, okay. And music's blaring. It's like, boom, 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 boom. And he goes, Kickoff Kevin, great, love it. He goes, I don't know where you found that guy. Good job. So you got to
Love it. Thank you. He's got a great name, by the way.
He then said,
Oh, great.
loved all the interviews. He was like, I don't like wrestling, so I don't care about the Diamond Dallas Page one. And I was like, well, you didn't have to listen. That's a good thing about podcasts. You can skip right by it if you didn't like wrestling. If I didn't like wrestling, I wouldn't either, maybe. Although I got a couple messages from people who don't like wrestling who thought the interview itself was pretty interesting because his story is interesting.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But it was mostly for wrestling fans. There are probably a lot of wrestling fans who listen to this. And then he said, too many people have whistles. I
Oh,
said,
interesting.
we don't even have 25 whistles, so we don't. If we had 26 people with whistles, then that'd be one too many.
And we rarely blow it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'd understand it. We're blowing it all day, but we're not blowing the
That's
whistle
right.
all day.
You know what? I'm going to blow it on him.
You're wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that.
But it's going well. Like, everybody's super pumped. The show's growing like crazy, which is, again, surprising to me. I thought it would do pretty good. I didn't know it was going to grow like it has. It's been massive. We have 2 feeds that it's on. If you listen to it on the Bobby Bones Show feed, that's super cool. And because we're only doing up until the Super Bowl, the 25 episodes, DraftKings actually paid to make sure that it was put in there as well, so it would get listened to before we were done. Because a podcast, it takes, even if it's a great podcast, it takes a while to build, especially if you got a new feed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been doing great there, and then lots of people are subscribing. It's just like, I kind of can't believe how successful it's been. So we really appreciate that. And there's our updates on the coaches. Adam is not here, but I don't see any booking of his coach, right?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Oh, wow.
It may be
Sorry.
one to win $500.
I know.
Maybe one. Okay, so there's that. You know, I mentioned earlier that my parlay didn't work out very well this week. I went 1 for 2. That's just an L. That's not 1 win and 1 loss. That's an L. That's 1 loss. 25 Whistles brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings app and use the code BobbySports to get into the action right now and hop in. Hop into the parlays. That's what we did. Baylor plus 2.5. They covered. They won. OU minus 12.5 obviously didn't, and they lost. They lost the game. They were a 12.5 point favorite, and they lost the game.
Yeah.
So I did not win. I am now 15-1 on the season. But we'll get them again. I'm probably leaning toward betting everything on Ole Miss. And Kentucky is not a good team. They're ranked 7. They've beat nobody. They beat Florida after Florida beat Utah, but Florida has lost twice now.
Yeah.
Florida's not a good Kentucky's the biggest fraud number 7 team I've ever seen in my life.
When do they get into the meat of their schedule?
Now
Did
they
we
play
look
Ole
at that?
Miss this week.
That's right.
And they came, I believe they entered the chat at a 4-point dog. Like it was Kentucky plus 4. Now I think it's like Kentucky plus 7.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So if it gets any higher, I might not hop on that, but I just don't think Kentucky beats Ole Miss. I think Kentucky's a fraud of a football team. I think they're probably around 20, 22. I'm the
You
same
got
person.
something against those Wildcats
No,
over here.
I'm the same person that told you Kentucky was going to beat Florida.
Yeah.
I sat here and said, they're going to win. There's no doubt about it. Kentucky's a fraud as a number 7. They haven't beat anybody. There's no reason Kentucky to be ranked 7. They haven't beat anybody. So they're gonna get whooped. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, what about Clemson?
Yeah, Clemson's beat Wake Forest.
Wake Forest? But they should have lost that
They
game.
should have lost that game.
They should have, but they didn't. And they have North Carolina State this week.
Okay.
Which is a top. I think they're 10 maybe this
they're,
week.
They're,
something like
they're
that.
good.
Is Wake Forest good?
Except for they only beat Liberty by 1 point the week before.
Yeah.
But Liberty's also pretty good.
Yes.
Hugh Freeze also
Hugh
has
Freeze.
that team ready to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So listeners that don't have a DraftKings Sportsbook app account, download it now. DraftKings Sportsbook, it's awesome. Get in, sign up, get in on the action with the 25 Whistles parlay on DraftKings Sportsbook. If you want to take the 25 Whistles parlay, you can check out DraftKings Sportsbook. New users, use the code BobbySports when you download the app. 21 and up in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for terms and resources. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. In Tennessee, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, 467-369. A couple things before we get to the games. The Pro Bowl is now going to be flag football and skills challenge, which is awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because I'll actually go over and maybe watch that. Maybe. I think it'll be interesting. I will not watch the Pro Bowl because I do not care.
No.
Does anyone care about the Pro Bowl?
No, that's
No.
why they're changing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been on in my house, but it's always been, well, we're just doing other things. Like,
I don't even put it on. It's so lame. They don't even try.
they don't try. And I get it. Why would you?
And also, you don't get hurt.
Yes, exactly. At a Pro Bowl game.
So I like the flag football, athletes, run, and then I like the skills challenge.
Yeah.
Because I would watch some of the skills stuff before the Pro Bowl. They would do some of that.
Those were fun to see.
yeah, those are fun.
Like how far you could throw.
and
or,
the dummy going across and Brady's like pegging it.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then two, Brett Favre's just a bad dude.
Oh, yeah,
He's
dude.
a bad dude. I keep waiting for more of it to come out before I like jump on it. But the fact he wanted to take the welfare funds from Mississippi to build his alma mater, his daughter's college volleyball team, and he's a bad dude.
And take the credit for it. Like, it's just bizarre.
And know that it's probably illegal. No, he probably knew it's illegal. But there are everything's there. He's just a bad dude. He made so much money.
Yeah, that's my question. So he's got the money, right? Like, so if he wanted to do this legally and be really the person he wanted to look like, a good giving person, like he could have done this all on his own, right?
I don't know what his bank account says.
I mean,
I
he did a
would-
lot of
I-
Wrangler commercials.
I would assume.
Yeah.
It just seems like a bad dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can anybody defend Brett Favre?
No,
No. He hasn't. I haven't heard it. He hasn't spoken on it or anything, right?
I don't-
Nothing I've seen. Yeah.
I don't know. if he
I
has
wouldn't if I were him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything.
his attorneys.
He probably won't. He doesn't. He probably doesn't even care. He's in the sticks somewhere in the woods, just like yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he cares.
I mean, he's taking money from. Again, this should go to people who are on welfare, the most vulnerable of person. He's taking money from that, and wanting the credit, and just trying to make the facility better.
and the politician involved in this.
Bad news.
Because
Because the text said, "Hey, can we do that?" Did you see the text?
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we." Yeah. So what's your question?
yeah, like so, is he in trouble too? I mean, are they
Yeah.
both jointly in trouble here?
Yes, but it's all about Brett Favre out in the news cycle because Brett Favre is a name we care about.
Yeah.
But yes, right? I mean, he's in trouble too, I assume.
Yeah.
But today you can do something illegal in politics and nobody cares. Move on to the next thing.
I know.
It just depends. It just depends which party runs the state if they
Yeah.
kind of investigate if you did something good or bad.
That's crazy, man.
It's crazy. All right, let's go through the games here. All right, hit me with it. Hey, there it is. And some of these, I'm just going to have nothing because I just watched them on the little screen. I've seen a bunch of highlights, but even then, let's start Ravens 37, Patriots 26. Kickoff Kevin, what'd you see?
Sadness.
Yeah, I saw sadness. A lot of turnovers for the Patriots in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. A couple big ones. When we were coming back, Mac threw a pick in the end zone, and then Nelson Aguilar fumbled. So we had our opportunities, the Patriots did, but
I forgot.
Hey, we got to do it. Oh yeah, where's the homer?
Yeah, bias alert. We. Anytime you say "we" when you don't mention it, yeah, go ahead.
But I will say, I mean, Lamar was the best player on the field.
Are you nervous because Mac Jones went off the field? They say high ankle sprain now, but he limped off the field.
Yeah, he looked like he was in a lot of
It
pain.
looked bad,
Yeah, so a bad day or bad ending to that game got even worse with the last play of the game.
Bears beat the Texans 23-20. The crazy thing is the Bears are 2-1.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Did anyone watch that game?
I watched it on the screen because I bet on it.
Yeah, that would be the only reason to
Well, I
watch
watched it. So it's crazy. The Bears are 2-1, and away they go. I mean, it's not like the Texans were supposed. The Texans were an underdog in the game, and they played at the level they were expected. But yeah, the Bears are 2-1. Titans 24, Raiders 22.
Dang.
They had a chance at the end of the game to score the 2-point conversion and tie it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like I just saw a clip on the end of it. It looked like it was thrown to him, but what happened?
To Waller, I think it was a little bit high.
Was it?
Yeah, he dropped a couple though. Waller did.
Yeah, I just saw the clip, and it was from a crowd cell phone, so it
that's
didn't
not
look
good.
as good to me. Yeah, and I was on a plane, friends. The Raiders are 0-3.
Yeah.
They're better than 0-3, I think, but now I'm starting to question myself.
Yeah, I don't know.
And how about the Titans getting a win there? That's a big win for them.
They
Yeah.
needed it.
Yeah.
Heck yeah,
And they were up
needed it.
big, and they almost blew it. So I'm
They
glad they
did.
held on to it. Yeah.
They did. It felt almost Giants-esque
Yes.
as it got closer, and I was watching on that little cartoon screen. I was like, oh no, it's going to be like the Giants again. Colts 20, Chiefs 17. Kevin?
It just seemed like the Chiefs. I don't know. When the opportunity came, obviously the kicking was with their backup kicker, and then they faked that one kick, and that didn't work out very well.
I didn't see that.
Okay, yeah. So they faked a field goal in the fourth quarter.
They did.
Yeah, totally faked it because they have their backup kicker in there, and they ran out and tried to throw it, and it was just an awful throw. Awful. Everything was bad about it.
I saw Mahomes, and he was arguing with the OC.
The enemy? Yeah.
Yeah. What was that?
That was at the end of the half. Mahomes wanted to run some plays. I think they had like maybe 30 seconds left at the end of the half, and Bieniemy just kind of ran the ball instead of going to halftime and figured it out in the second half, and he wasn't happy about that.
If you're Mahomes, you could probably just change play and
I know. Right on
at
the line.
right? And
Yeah, I think he was just being respectful and saying like, "Hey, like we should score if we have the opportunity." Coach is like, "Just that's what it is." And then when they're walking to the locker room, then head coach
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid is just like, "Hey, dude, just calm down."
Yeah, and they asked
It
Andy
is
Reid
what it
after the
is.
game, and he was like, "It is." They were just talking. There was no fight
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Although it looked a little. It wasn't the Jets heated
Yeah.
on the sideline. The
Oh, yeah.
Jets and the line coach.
Yeah, they look like they're about to fight.
That's crazy,
that
man.
That was a crazy one. But the Colts win. They needed it, and that's a division they can still win that thing. I think if they lost, it would have been tough. But the Colts with a big win over the Chiefs. Dolphins beat the Bills. We talked about that 21-19. What was the most glaring reason for victory and defeat, Kevin? Victory for the Dolphins.
Victory for the Dolphins was holding in the red zone. Bills had their chances, and they ended up holding in the red zone. And then for defeat, kind of the same thing. I mean, Josh Allen, I don't know if you saw the play where he could have scored at the end there, and he just short-armed a throw to a guy, I don't know who it was, in the corner of the end zone, wide open, threw it right into the dirt.
There were a few of those that he had.
Really?
Yeah.
Not
Did you
sure
watch
where
it?
it came from. Yeah, I
Oh,
watched
yeah, you
it.
flew back home
Oh, dude,
early.
I landed at 11:55.
How
Enough
lucky
time to
for
make
you.
all my bets and watch the games.
How lucky for you. All right, next game. Vikings and Lions. Vikings win 28-24. Hey, it did look like Vikings had good quarterback play, maybe because it was noon.
Oh, that could be it.
You know? Maybe that's why. I was really rooting for the Lions, honestly. What happened that game?
I thought they were going to win. They were up 10 in the second half, and then out of nowhere, the Vikings came surging. Kirk Cousins, non-primetime Kirk Cousins.
Noon Kurt.
Yeah,
Noon
exactly.
Kurt. I was really rooting for the Lions there. Eagles whooped up on the Commanders. I did see some of this game, and I saw that Carson Wentz just could not complete a pass.
Yeah.
It was difficult all
He
the way
got
around.
sacked 9 times.
Yeah, and then he said that's not the line's fault because you don't get sacked 9 times and blame the line.
Yeah,
He was holding
Really?
the ball too long. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It is not a good
And
Commander
they got to
day.
him pretty quick.
The Panthers win 22-14.
Yeah, your boy Baker.
I need the Panthers to win some games, baby. Do you see any difference in the Panthers? Do they do anything different?
I didn't see a lot of this game. I just saw little bits and highlights while I was out watching the game. So I don't know exactly what was different, but I
That's
just
right.
saw
We're
that they were
in-depth
winning.
sports here.
Yeah.
None of us saw this game. We suck. All right, next game. Jaguars 38, Chargers 10. Good for the Jags. Chargers are dealing with it right now. Obviously, if Herbert, they were just going to throw short passes and run the ball anyway for the most part. Herbert was obviously hurt. Do you think he takes a couple games off now after not being able to perform?
Yeah, if you're going to do it, you got to do it now and make that decision.
Jags, though, pretty
Yeah.
solid. Could win the division.
Good for them.
Literally. They all could win the division,
Sure.
right? Let's talk about this for a second. Jags, yes.
Yep.
Colts,
Yep.
sure.
Now.
Titans,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now.
sure.
Texans.
That's why I didn't jump and say that immediately. 'Cause I realized like 3 in, I probably was wrong that they all could. But it's going to be tough for the Texans.
Yeah. I like the way that they compete, though.
I agree. That's the only reason I'm not saying no.
It's like the
because
Lions of last
They
year.
are gritty.
Yeah.
They are gritty.
Yeah.
But you can't lose to the Bears. You have to win those type games.
true.
All right, next game. Rams and Cardinals. I mean, what about Kyler?
It's not good, man.
it's
What
not
he's
good.
doing is not good.
It's
And I saw
not.
so many bad decisions, where he was trying to just get rid of the ball real quick. Well, and he's lucky. He probably did that about 6 times. And he's lucky none of those got picked.
Yeah.
And just things like that make me think, like, Kyler, I don't know what you're thinking.
Also, I bet them to make the playoffs because Eddie said it was a sign from God. So
You know what?
that
Hey,
sucks.
God was sending me a different
That
sign. I
sucks. I
misread
hated
that.
Falcons beat the Seahawks. Hey, good for the Falcons.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
know?
I like that little team.
That's what I'm saying. I
Like
like
really,
watching Mariota
with
play.
Mariota, Pitts, Kyle Pitts, and this London, whatever, Drake London. Dude, I like what they're doing. I'm kind of a little fan of what the Falcons are doing over there.
He likes the little team and he's a little fan.
A little fan of the
There.
Falcons.
Packers beat the Bucks. We talked about that. I like those teams. Both those teams are going to be fine. Packers just need to find receivers. Bucks just need to get everybody out of the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time.
I mean, but they're struggling.
Yeah.
So there's that. Was this even a game? Broncos and 49ers. I fell asleep last night.
I
It was
did
a terrible
too.
game.
I watched second half on the plane, and it was
You watched the second half? I watched the first one. It was a terrible game.
it was awful.
What's up with Russell? What's going on over there? What's happening with him?
Unlimited. Have you seen the Instagram?
No.
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
He's such a douche. I'm just convinced now.
He's a
You think
robot.
so?
I didn't always think he was a douche. He's such a douche.
Yeah, see?
I just thought he was awkward. Like,
Yeah, I think he's maybe, but he wants like his own like locker away from the team and just a weird dude.
yeah, man, I
He's
don't
super
know.
weird.
He's unlimited. You'll see it and be like, what?
It's not the let's ride anymore. It's unlimited now.
Well, he made a thing and he was like, you ever have to do like double personalities? I wonder if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, because I didn't know what this
He's
is.
like, you feel like you have a second personality?
Does he talk like that?
Hold on.
Dude,
Well,
he's a robot.
No, I know, and I feel like he struggles with who he is. He knows who he is, but I think he struggles with that versus who he wants everyone to think he is. That's what I kind of see in him. Like, I don't know if he's trying to fake that he's something or what, but whatever it is, there are definitely two personalities, and he's struggling with it.
Yeah.
I don't see the Russell Unlimited post. I'll try to find it in a second. 49ers and no, Jets and Bengals. Let me hit this, and then I'll find it real quick. Go ahead, hit that mic. Go ahead. You care about that game at all?
No, I mean, it was what we thought. The Jets last week, after that big win last week, they weren't going to do much this week. And Bengals got on track.
Okay, here we go. It's an old video, but they keep showing it over.
Boring, yes, Russell, the robot Russell, the one you guys love to know. Real exciting. I'm real exciting. But anyways, everybody has to have an alter ego, right? And I've been thinking about what my alter ego would be, and I think I have an alter ego. His name's Mr. Unlimited. You gotta be unlimited. You gotta have a thought process of being unlimited. So when people ask you, what you're thinking about or what you want to do in life or where you want to go, you gotta be unlimited. Tell them, I'm unlimited. You know what I mean? So when they ask you certain questions like,
What brings you motivation, Russell?
Mr. Unlimited.
See what I mean?
my.
Is he drunk?
know,
He
dude.
sounds drunk.
I don't know.
This is weird.
That's the NFL. We'll go through college real quick, even though the college is stupid and football's stupid. Georgia beat Kent State closer than it should have been.
Yeah, way
Yeah, that was
closer.
crazy.
Kent State was fine. Alabama crushed up on Vandy. I know Eddie bet Vandy to cover, and I was like,
So
don't do that, Eddie. I was
40
like,
points. I'm like, come
I
on,
was like,
Vandy,
don't do
just
that,
scored
Eddie.
two touchdowns. We got
Ohio
this.
State whooped up on Wisconsin. Michigan over Maryland, but not like people thought.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. They did not cover. Clemson and Wake Forest double overtime.
Great game.
Awesome.
Was really rooting for old Wake Forest there
Yeah,
because
I know.
Dabo won't come on the show. Oklahoma got beat by Kansas State, which was just an odd game to watch because it was Oklahoma never really was winning the game. At the end, they had a shot to tie, like take the ball and score and maybe tie it up. Right, they're down 14, and it just was never a deal. Like I was never like, okay, Oklahoma's got it. Arkansas, Texas, who cares?
Move right on.
Freaking broke my heart, man. Florida, Tennessee. Tennessee beat them 38-33, but it wasn't as close as that. I felt like Tennessee snockered them a little bit for most of the game. It was a little closer than I thought it was going to be. That was the final score, right? Which is weird to see 38-33 because I just felt like, and I guess I turned it off before the end and just saw the score, but that's closer than it was. That means Florida covered.
Yeah, Billy
Yeah.
Napier did a hell of a job, man. Really proud of him.
Good for Florida.
Yeah.
Love Florida.
I wish he'd talk about it,
Baylor beat Iowa State, even though they were the underdog. Texas lost Texas Tech, and Middle Tennessee beat Miami, which is crazy.
Middle. Let's go.
That's crazy. All right, that's it. Oh, hey, wait. Have we thrown to the interview yet?
We have not.
Oh,
You want to just go?
unless we've been in Vegas. I'm exhausted. I'll be honest with
I
you.
know.
All right, let's throw. This is awesome. You're gonna like this interview. This is Jay Glazer. You probably know him just from being all over everything. Mr. Football Guy, but also new book, new podcast. We didn't just talk about that though, and I honestly thought we'd talk about his book and podcast, and we would get to doing the promo stuff and then get back to football. But hearing him talk about mental health was really great, right? We all finished the interview and we're like,
Loved it.
That was
Oh, he's awesome.
way better than I
Absolutely.
thought it would be in more ways than just football.
When someone can be human like that and just feel free to talk about what they're going through is really refreshing and inspiring at the same time.
Here is Jay Glazer. Jay, thanks for coming on, bud.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to come on here with you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Let me fanboy for a second and say that I'm just a massive fan, and I I mean, I look forward to a lot of the things that you do, especially the hits before the games, because I'm like, all right, let me find out what's either breaking or what do I need to know about who's hurt. So before we talk about some of the stuff that you're working on, just let me say that I'm a massive fan for a long time of what you do.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. It's pretty cool for me. This is my 20th year at the NFL on Fox. So like every weekend I get to have a family reunion with the rest of my family, and we're all crazy. You know, it's me and Bradshaw and Howie Long and my baby sister Michael Strahan and Kurt Menefee and Jimmy Johnson. But every week I get to have a family reunion. Like, how freaking cool is that?
Yeah, it's awesome to have a job that you love. And I definitely want to get to the football stuff later, but I, like yourself, I'm a big advocate of pursuing mental health. And I think, me growing up in a small town in a very rural part of a state of Arkansas, that we didn't know anything about mental health growing up.
Yeah.
And then to watch you, really champion this cause and share your struggles with it, like that's inspiring for a guy like me. So I want to first talk about the podcast that is called Unbreakable, and you even say it's a mental health podcast. It's right there in the title, so you're letting everybody know what's going on there. What exactly are you talking about, and how are you discussing mental health on the podcast?
And that's the thing. The whole thing spawned from my book, Unbreakable, how I turn my depression, anxiety into motivation. And you can too, because I made a decision a long time ago, like I wasn't going to let this thing beat me. And I live in something that I call the gray. That's depression, anxiety. Let's throw in some ADD, a little bipolar if you can. I mean, I got it all. And it's my earliest childhood memory. Like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't ask for this. But it's every single day of my life. It is hard for me to get out of bed in the morning. I got to make that decision. But, when you live in the gray, it's like you wake up every morning thinking the world hates you. You're not worthy of being loved. The sky is falling, and it's not real. And I know people at home probably going, oh, what's this guy complaining about? His life is great. Man, my life is great. Like, I'm on here with you. Are you kidding me? But between my ears sucks. So for all these years, I created this character on TV, the Glaze, fighting and football and ballers and doing all this. And I hid it. I just suffered in silence all these years. And I wish I spoke up earlier because of all the people I could have helped, but also I would have had a better team to walk this walk with together. And I would have been able to handle it a lot better than the ways I handle it, which the ways I handle it in the past were not healthy for me or other people.
We spend so much time talking about our physical fitness. And again, I've been someone who was uneducated on it for a long time until I started experiencing things myself. But we do all this, how to work out, how to eat, and that is a big part of health, but it ain't all of health. And I've learned this as well. And if you're not mentally healthy and you're not working on your mental health, it's almost hard to get healthy physically, because if you're not all in up top, it's hard to be all in at all.
Yeah, when the roommates in my head are not playing along nicely together, man, everything hurts. And so when I have these periods of the gray that I call them, I get a visceral physical reaction. When my depression and anxiety hit bad, I feel it actually in my joints, on the left side of my gut, and behind my rib cage. And that pain's very real for me. And it's something that I handle every single day. And you're right. But mental health is so reactive these days, right? Physical health, like, man, you're going to go to the gym because you want to get yourself bigger. It's every day, right? Or stronger, cardio, whatever that is, right? Like, I just talked to football teams. I say, you guys don't only catch passes when you have the drops. You throw them and catch them all the time. Mental health, we only go to see a therapist when the sky is falling. And that's sometimes too late. So I'm trying to get out ahead of it. We talk mental health. The reason why I wrote this book and the reason why I'm doing this podcast is I want to give it words. I want to give people words to be able to start having the conversation to, and it's incredible the reaction I've had. I've had grandmothers reach out saying, thank you, for the first time in 80 years, I could have this conversation and tell my husband and kids and grandkids what I've been going through. A lot of girl dads saying, like, I don't have it. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, you do. But my daughter does. But now I'm able to have the conversation. And I want to make this distinction very clear. I'm not your therapist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a dude who's messed up, who's learning how to be good with his messed upness. And you don't have to have my level, which is clinical. And that's why I guess allows me to talk about it. I have clinical depression, anxiety, and that I hit all these years. But we're all going through something these days, man. Social media makes us all think our lives suck. Like we're comparing ourselves to everybody else's filtered fraction of a second of a day. And we're going, man, how come my food doesn't look like that? Why am I not at that party? Like we feel left out. Or on Twitter, we see so much hate and bullying. And when I got bullied on the playground growing up, it sucked for a month. But now we're seeing it 1,000 times a second on Twitter. So it's just a scarier world. So you don't have to have my level, right? But we're all going through some sort of gray. And like I said, my job now is, I felt cursed for all these years, but now I feel like God blessed me with depression, anxiety, so I could give other people a voice to hopefully help them through their pain. Because, man, we deserve it. We don't deserve for this great a win. Screw that. Like, I deserve to live in the blue. We all do.
I wonder what your turning point was as far as you mentioned the Glaze and this larger-than-life character that you presented, but that was your job, right? I bet I do this too. Like, there are days I don't feel good, but I got to come and do a national show, and you got to be who people are tuning in to see or tuning in to hear. But for you, not only were you this larger-than-life person, but there's MMA, there's football. It's a very macho thing that you're a part of. And when was it for you that you went, you know what, I just have to be uncomfortably vulnerable, because if I don't, like, I'm not actually sharing who I really am? What was that turning point for you?
I started going down worse and worse roads here as I've gotten older. People think that you hit success. I thought, and here's the thing, like for me, that's why I say in the book title, how I use it to motivate me. I'm not able, like, I don't know what it's like to feel love from the inside out. I've never felt worthy of being loved, which sucks, man. It's lonely. I want to be loved. So it's, as a result, forced me to do all these big, great things on the outside. Like I'm in the TV Hall of Fame. I was the first MMA host of a national MMA show in America, doing 5 years on Ballers with The Rock, who wrote the foreword for my book, is how important this is. So it's forced me to go do all these great things on the outside to feel loved. And I thought, man, once I kind of made it and I'd have some money, because listen, I've been on both ends. The first 11 years of my career, I was making $9,700 a year living in New York City. That sucks. So I understand what it's like to be broke, and I worked my butt off to be unbreakable, if you will, because I needed to find that outside love to help lift me up, and just didn't work like that. Like the outside stuff didn't really fulfill me. So I kind of got sick of it, man. I got sick of waking up every day. And, one of the things I read about in the book is that I need a team. And I've had fight teams and different teams to help me through. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start talking about it, because the more I can talk about it, I'll get a bunch more teammates out there that we can walk this walk together, and it'll help me through. And I've needed the help. As much as I'm helping others, I need the help just as much.
I want to encourage you guys to check out Unbreakable, How I Turn My Depression, Anxiety into Motivation, and You Can Too, by Jay Glazer. And then the podcast, which is Unbreakable with Jay Glazer, a mental health podcast. They are both up. The first episode, Sean McVay. I assume you've got some really, like someone like me would consider really cool relationships. And is Sean a friend of yours who wanted
Very
to come
close.
on? Yeah.
So in the book, when I describe the gray, we're in Mexico, myself, him, and Andrew Whitworth. And we're trying to describe to him what depression, anxiety is. And Sean, man, his life is like a nightlight. He's like the worst thing that ever happened to Sean is he didn't win the Super Bowl in his second year ever as the youngest head coach in NFL history. And like his parents look like the people who are in picture frames you buy in freaking Target. It's like he don't understand childhood trauma or anything like that. So he starts really deep diving, explaining. So I thought it was a good way for me to explain it, trying to explain to the Super Bowl winning head coach of what it's like to have depression, anxiety, and the gray. And Andrew Whitworth, who was his captain, his left tackle, who's the Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner, he starts talking about it. And Sean goes, wait, you too? And he's like, Sean, what do you think gets me at 40 years of age to still pound my head into Aaron Donald every day? Yeah, dude, I'm messed up. Absolutely. We all are. So we were trying to explain to Sean that it's not just your locker room, it's everybody around you. And where you got to start, I said, Sean, think how great of a coach you could be if you could start learning how to be vulnerable, and you can start leaning into other people and start, the attachment that I now have. And I'll tell you a story after this about me and Michael Strahan, who's my best friend, for 30 years, but that I hid it from. But I said, man, imagine how much better of a coach this will make you. Well, last year they go 0 for November. during the Super Bowl run, and he was struggling. And people don't know, I would actually go out to his house. I was concerned about him. And I went to his house a couple times during that period just to get him to start being vulnerable and opening up to people on his team and his staff. And he did. And he really started opening up to things that he was struggling with. And that really helped bond them together. And then they went on a Super Bowl run. And it made him a better coach and now he's a husband now, better friend, better everything. So it's pretty cool. I got to, these relationships in the most doodly of worlds, right? Like I look at it like no one's questioning my manhood. I fought for years. I coached for years, do football, ballers, all that. So no one's questioning my manhood. So I could cry to you on the drop of a dime. I'm good.
What's the Strahan story?
So man, again, this guy is my best friend since 1993. He and I latched on each other. And in those broke years, I didn't have enough money to I had to go to Giant Stadium every day to work, to be a reporter. I didn't have enough money to take a subway to a bus to Giant Stadium and back every day. So Stray drove me back into New York City every freaking day for like 9 years. So I owe him like 28 grand in Lincoln Tunnel fare, right? So for years, and I hid this from my whole team, except Howie Long. Howie could tell when I was I would have these anxiety attacks before the show and some mental breakdown sometimes. And Howie would go, hey, the sky's not falling. The sky's not falling. Because Howie's messed up too. You got to be messed up to be that violent of a football player. But so last year, 30 years, okay, Strahan and I are supposed to go out to dinner. And man, the beast just got out of the box. And my anxiety, I got woken up in the middle of the night by an anxiety attack. Like, how unfair is that? And like, I didn't do anything. There wasn't anything that triggered me. It woke me up. And man, I just felt like my world was ending. And it freaking sucked. And like I said, it takes so much out of me physically when it happens. So for the first time in 30 years, I'm supposed to go out to dinner with Stray. And I said, man, can't go to dinner tonight. In the past, when this happened, I would use Vicodin and alcohol and just hide it. And that would usually be a lot more dangerous because I started to get a little fisty, and start snatching people. And I'm not the most pleasant person on that. So for the first time in 30 years, I said, Stray, can't go to dinner tonight, man. The beast just got out of the box. And he said, you want me to come over? I said, not this time. I think I got to get back to bed. And he said, you want to talk about it? I said, I do, but not right now. And then he said to me, why have you never told me about this? I'm your best friend. I said, man, I don't make up the rules of this thing, bro. Whatever reason, I felt ashamed with you. And he's like, yeah, but you took my ability to be your friend away. Like, I wish you had opened up. I got a little choked up talking about it because had I been able to open up to him for 30 years like I am now, I would have had somebody that I could have leaned on. I would have had somebody who can help me out of that dark hole. So for everybody out there listening, listen, every single person I've opened up to about this, when I'm having bad days, nobody's told me to suck it up. Nobody's called me a wuss. In fact, it's gotten us closer together. And I would say the majority of my friends that I've opened up to about it have then in turn opened up to me about something that they never know they ever could have.
Yeah, it sounds like your team's very important to you. Your friends are very important to you. Your support group.
Yes.
Which also kind of
that's a pillar in the book of like how to get through this.
Yeah, like
it's finding those teams.
I talk about when I will speak or I do a comedy / kind of TED talk where I tour a bit and I talk about how, we're always afraid to ask for help, but if somebody asks us for help, we do it in a second. So if someone's ever like, hey, would you please help? Absolutely, I do it. But then why wouldn't you ask for help if you need it? I don't want to bother people. Oh, I don't know but it's almost, lend that perspective to you having to reach out to somebody because you would help somebody. So why would you not ask somebody to lend you a hand?
So you know what I do now? So now I have better tools to deal with it. So again, I had another night and I don't know why these have been happening lately, but again, like I said, like depression, anxiety, they pull a chair up whenever they damn well please, right? There's no schedule. And for me also, I have a panic attack every single time I've ever been on TV from 2005 to now. As I'm on that first segment, only on our show, not on somebody else's show. It's the weirdest thing, which was really, really strange because, man, I'm great in chaos. I suck in calm. So I don't know why that happens. It becomes habitual. But so as I'm talking to you on Sundays, every time that first segment, I'm having an anxiety attack, and I call it wrestling with my abuser. And so what I do now, when I get woken up in the middle of the night by it, or I have a really bad day, I will call 4 friends and tell them, man, I am freaking struggling today. I just got to tell somebody because there's power in numbers, right? So I start telling them. And then the other thing I do, like another one of my pillars, is being of service. And being of service can be charity or, helping in so many different ways. But I'll call 4 other friends and not tell them I'm struggling, just to check up on them. And that combination of me calling people and having a team to help lift me up, and then me checking up on others to be of service to them, that really helps that gray take a hike.
Speaking of friends, just relating it to your career, how do you have so many friends? How do you know so much stuff? Like, what? Because it's like if I needed to know something, if I was gonna, it would be called Jay Glazer. If it's anybody, is it all relationship based?
Everything's relationship based, and that's the other thing I kind of write about is the art of loyalty is a dying art, right? And I'm the most loyal dude on the planet. Love me or hate me, anybody you talk to about me will tell you I'm the most loyal dude on the planet, and I'm the way you have relationships is give. I'm always thinking for my friends and for people, not with them having to ask. And the same thing for me, I would hope not to ask, like just give, think for people. And that in itself is being of service. So I have that mindset of how can I give to people and lift them up? And that's what relationships are supposed to be. They're supposed to be give. But when I have, when my friends lose in the NFL, I'm the first one to call them because nobody else will. When my friends, I see something on TMZ and they're going through something, bam, I'll call them in 2 seconds to let them know they're not going to walk this walk alone. And I think there's something for that authenticity, especially in how fake this world is these days. Like I said, love me or hate me, at least you know who you're getting. I never know who I'm getting when I wake up in the morning with myself, but everybody else knows who they're getting.
The book is Unbreakable: How I Turned My Depression, Anxiety into Motivation, and You Can Too by Jay Glazer. We have a group of guys here that would like to ask you a couple football questions. Are you cool with that?
Ahead.
And feel free to share, even if you've been told this to keep secret, because it's never going to go anywhere. We're never going to share.
Oh,
Tell us
sure.
your deepest, darkest secrets.
No one listens to this
yes,
show.
Yes. Eddie, you're first up with Jay.
Hey, Jay, it's awesome to talk to you.
What's happening, brother?
I'm a big Cowboys fan, and needless to say,
I can tell.
We've been riddled with injuries, right? Is it weird to you, and this may be the first season that I've really seen this, or maybe I've just missed it, but with Dak's injury, we're getting updates and reports from the owner versus like a team doctor. Is that
who stayed at the Holiday Inn Express last night, right? So he's telling you medical updates all of a sudden. I'm like, Jerry, what are you doing?
So is that your contact now? Like, do you, instead of going to like a medical guy for Dak's updates, like what's your whole thought on going to Jerry now and Jerry giving us updates?
Well, I don't go to him for that, but I talk to Jerry a lot, and Jerry and I actually have a story. I stole one of his steak sandwiches recently, and he got so upset with me because I bullied him. And then he I thought I was just joking around, but he was really pissed off at me that I stole a steak sandwich. But the thing is, listen, no, he's getting information for the medical department, which he's now passing along. But here's the truth about Dak's injury. Okay. Yes, it only takes 7 to 10 days. I think the Joneses get very, very optimistic, right? And I'm always like, dude, go on the other side, man. Tell everybody he's going to be out 8 weeks. So if he comes back earlier, he looks like John Wayne, But when you tell people he's going to come back earlier, he doesn't, people get frustrated. But I think they just get very, very optimistic. The truth about the injury is that it takes like 7 to 10 days for that wound to heal. And where the break was, if there is a way to say it's an ideal place, I don't know if there's ever an ideal place for a broken thumb, but it's way better down toward the hand than it is in the middle of that thumb. But the truth is nobody could tell you, including Jerry Jones, how quickly it's going to take for Dak to get his grip back, and not just the grip, but be able to spin that ball the way he wants to. So that's why, like, can he start throwing again soon? Yes, but nobody can tell you how fast that grip is going to come back the exact way that he wants to start spinning that rock.
You know, I'll talk about Patrick Mahomes for a second, where I feel like Mahomes is
never seen anything like him.
I felt like this offseason he was so disrespected, and people were like moving him down the list of active quarterbacks.
But they used to do that to Brady all the time too.
But
Same thing. Like, it's like you try and take down people who are the best, and I don't understand why either. I have no clue why. But hey, listen, man, this is my 30th year doing this, my 20th in Fox. Man, I have never seen anything like Patrick Mahomes.
In what way?
Vision, throws, the way he sees things, the amount of throws he can make from different angles, from off balance, from against the grain, from the accuracy, the way he just looks like he's barely moving his wrist, and then all of a sudden it's 75 yards downfield. Like, it's insane. In fact, I think Mahomes is better now without Tyreek Hill. He's going to evolve into an even better quarterback, because with Tyreek, you almost were forcing it downfield a lot, and he didn't have to have a lot of patience. Now this is forcing him to have patience, and you're seeing him to start spread the ball out more, go through his progressions, and it just makes him a lot more dangerous.
We feel like these athletes are up on this crazy pedestal where they're not looking down and seeing what we are doing down here. But I imagine he's seeing and hearing, or did hear, a lot of the stuff that was being said about him. Do you feel like he's extra, and it's hard to be extra motivated when you're extremely motivated, just, you know, as an everyday standard, but do you feel like he's extra motivated this year?
No, I think and that's why I say he's different. Like guys like he and Tom Brady, they don't need any motivation. They're great. You know, I've trained hundreds of players in mixed martial arts. And I always tell these guys, hey, here's the secret to success. Find out who the best is and do more than them. That's it. Pretty simple. And I can't tell you how many guys will be like, well, I can't do more than Tom Brady. Why not? Like, Tom had to do more than somebody else, right? Why not? You want to be great. Find out who the best is and do more than them. Patrick Mahomes, the way he works at it, things he works at, you got to be crazy to be great. You got to have that sickness, right? And really greatness comes from the hours that you put work in that when nobody's watching. And I think people like Mahomes and Brady, like Brady has the staying power because today's player, they care more about being famous than being great. Being famous is not the same as being great. Back in the day, you had to work your butt off to get famous. You had to get to the Pro Bowl. It was a different type of player. But now, because of social media, they're all famous. And again, a lot of them just think being famous is being great, and it's not. So when you have guys like Tom or Patrick who just care about being great, and they're constantly just outworking the world, that's why you see these guys continue to just rise up, and they get better and better and better and better. Tom's thrown for more yards or TDs, I forget the stat, in his 40s than he did his 20s. That's ridiculous.
Justin Herbert, we're talking about Dak's injury. Let's talk about Justin Herbert for a second. How hard is it? Because again, with your MMA background, you've probably strained and injured everything at some point. Yeah,
I've had this injury.
Oh
man, it sucks.
What's he dealing with, and what do you expect from him all season?
Oh my God. So you're better off pain-wise, you're better breaking a rib than fracturing that cartilage between the ribs. First of all, when you break a rib's more dangerous because it could pop out and puncture a lung, right? But the cartilage, man, it's hard to. Like Terry Bradshaw just said it. He had it. It took him 7 weeks to get over, and he ain't even playing. It's hard to talk, laugh, sneezing and coughing. That's the worst. Oh man, it sucks so badly. Like I try never to look up at the sun when I have this, and the problem too is it's a hard area to shoot up, right? To inject. And you saw that last time with the Chargers. They try to shoot up Tyrod Taylor. Yeah. They punctured his lung, right? And that's what started Justin Herbert's career. But the fact that he had that injury, and then I knew it right away when it happened. I said he either broke his rib or got the cartilage. And I'm like, man, they're gonna have to pull him. Like, there's no way he's going to be able to turn and torque. And he threw that dime of a pass. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, on fourth down.
On fourth down. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know how he's going to yell out his cadence. I don't know how he's going to continue. Now that the adrenaline's down, it's man, that injury, it sucks.
Is that going to affect him all season long, or is it a 3 or 4?
No, he'll get over it. He'll get over it. It takes, I mean, everybody's different. I'm trying to think how long mine took about a month. Yeah. Mine took a month of trying not to sneeze and cough. And I couldn't train, but I couldn't train with mine at all. And nor did I have any desire to.
I had 2 more players I want to ask you.
Get hit by a helmet in the area.
Yeah, I mean, even the coughing, right? Because I mean,
Dude,
even
it's
that
horrible.
probably sets you back. 2 more players I want to ask you about. Jalen Hurts, and not so much at what he's done this year, but it seems like it was just yesterday that the big debate was, does Philly want to commit to Jalen Hurts as their quarterback? Pull him, let him play, trade. So what have we learned, though, with how awesome he is now versus when they were questioning if he could even be the quarterback?
Well, he's better. I don't know about awesome yet, right? It's only a couple weeks. I want to see, because now people start adjusting to him as this new Jalen Hurts, if you will, right? So I want to see how he responds to that. But we go back to, like, I look for guys who work their butts off. And, a buddy of mine who used to coach for me at Unbreakable, my gym in LA, coaches him down there and trains him. And he's like, dude, this kid just nonstop. He nonstop works. So, his thing was accuracy. And it's really hard to become more accurate as time goes on. But, were they looking to replace him at a time? Yeah, absolutely. They're trying to upgrade if they thought. But as he continued to work at this, he has now come into, and I think the Eagles are going to be one of those teams. I thought they're going to be a turnaround team this year, not as much for the talent they brought in, but for the fact that last year with the head coach, Nick Sirianni, they were all kind of like, does this guy really know what he's doing? Should he have gotten the job? Where are we going here? And now they're all bought in. Now they're like, okay, he's the king man in charge. We follow him. We're good. So they had just a different confidence about them.
All right, last one. I'm sure you get asked about this a lot, like with Tom Brady and all of the rumors and tweets. And
Yeah.
do we expect this, whatever this is? I'm not even asking you to say what this is.
Yeah, because I'm on TMZ. That's
Yeah. All right, thanks to Jay Glazer. Thanks to you guys. That's all. Final thoughts. Kevin?
My final thoughts are going back to my team, the Patriots. I think might have the feeling of what it feels like to be just an average fan base or a team
Good
for the first time in about 20 years.
Yeah.
And
How old are you?
settling in. I'm 31.
So you haven't really, as someone who has mature emotions,
had
to deal with a team that's only okay.
No.
Thank God you do.
It's not fun.
It sucks.
Yeah. It's not fun.
It's not fun, dude.
My teams never win. Or at least they haven't until recently.
Yeah.
And we haven't won the big one ever. In 94, basketball, but our football is so good. I'm glad you're suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice
Thanks
of
for
you,
getting me
Buzz.
to the club, guys.
I mean, you got Cowboy fans in here. I mean,
Man, we haven't won since
well, at
the
least
90s.
but they'll never actually realize it or the
are you talking
reality
about?
of it.
Well, no, we're positive. We got to stay positive, back our team in the ups and the downs.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, your final thought?
My final thought is I've lost my car. I
lost
lost my
again.
wife's car.
Yeah.
The Chiefs were supposed to cover -5. They did not. They actually lost the game, so that's stupid. But next
Your
podcast.
kids have little cars, like little Jeep or anything?
Yeah, I got one of those, like the ones you can Flintstones.
You'll bet that.
But no. On next podcast, I will give you a 12-game parlay that you can just bet $1, and we can at least get a really nice bike with that.
12 game.
Yeah.
That's going to take the whole podcast to do.
Start now.
Guys, look, if you hit this with $1 bet, we can get one of those Trek bikes, a Huffy. You can get 5 Huffies.
Okay, Eddie's big 12 gamer coming up Friday. We'll call it the 12-incher.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's cool.
Finally, I'm just going to say this. The sun comes up tomorrow. It does. So anytime you're down, you think, I hate football, and we've lost it all, and there's no reason to go on and no reason to play, no reason to watch another game ever, and you're just sad. The sun comes up tomorrow. With or without you, it's coming up. And I'd rather it be with you. And I'm talking to myself.
I'm like,
So
what
I
are
can
you
listen to
talking
this.
about? It's all right,
I was
dude.
distraught. I woke up the next day distraught. And I have to tell myself, we've lost other big games. And you know what? After a couple days, it still sucks, but you just adjust yourself and you get back into it, just like life. Adversity hits you. What do? Do you fall down, stay down?
No.
Sometimes. I do.
Oh.
Or do you
Couple
get
days.
back up? And as a fan, I'm going to get back up, and I'm going to watch us play Alabama.
Oh, boy. And then you get back down.
And I'm
Sorry,
going to
dude.
tell you this. And we're going to end it. this is a part of the reason it was so brutal too. If Arkansas would have won, game day was coming to Fayetteville.
Oh, dang. And you would have been on it. Dude,
Wait.
let's move on.
I've never been the guest.
Let's move on. You're not 100% on that. You're about 99%, but let's move on.
I've never been the guest picker from what I was told leading up to it.
Damn.
No.
That hurts. I know.
That would. Oh man.
Yeah, now you guys are sad for me.
Gosh,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah, multiple
The
levels.
sun's
Multiple-
definitely not coming up tomorrow.
multiple levels.
Yeah.
Sun's coming up. With you or without you. I'd rather be with you, but it's coming up.
No, it's going to be a rainy,
Day moves
gray day
on.
tomorrow.
No, and then it comes up the next day. All right, thank you guys. Thanks to DraftKings. We will see you on Friday.